My body is ready.
We would like to play.
Maybe it's because they were the progenitors of the home console revival in the mid-1980s. Maybe it's because they have video game characters that rival the likes of Mickey Mouse and Bugs Bunny in cultural relevance, but Nintendo has always inhabited a special place in the video game industry. I think it's because they know how to entice you to play their systems. Since the days of the Game & Watch, Nintendo has followed a spirit of playful innovation, making device after device that has outdone themselves in terms of their calculated irreverence. What a joy it was to get that Wii, my first video game console ever in 2007. What it felt like to plug it into the family television and listen in awe to the ethereal landscape as I navigated the menus, the clicks and pops and music that emanated from each channel, the bright whites and blues of its Frutiger Aero futurism. I feel a distinct disconnect when I use my Switch 2. It's a really well-made piece of hardware, don't get me wrong, but it isn't fun to use. There's no music to greet me when I fire it up, no channels to persuade me to enjoy their offerings. It feels scared to indulge in anything that would distract you from jumping into a game as fast as possible. I mean, the original Switch had the same problem in its menus, but the original Switch was a hardware marvel. The novelty of being able to take Breath of the Wild anywhere was enough to give the bland interfaces of its home screen a pass. 8 years later, the Switch 2 and its uninventive spaces represent something bigger than Nintendo though, an ideological shift that has taken place as the rise of social media has flooded into our lives. Nintendo isn't competing with Xbox or Sony anymore, it's competing with the smartphone. According to data sourced by Data Reportal, in 2025, 50% of global social media usage is to, quote, keep in touch with friends and family, with the next highest usage for, quote, filling spare time at 38%. Along with other usage, that leads to a staggering 18 hours and 41 minutes a week dedicated to social media usage, a number that represents all social media from TikTok to WhatsApp to Reddit. According to How Long to Beat, Mario Odyssey's main campaign can be beaten in 12.5 hours. Mario Kart World's Grand Prix only takes about 3.5 hours. Tears of the Kingdom's main story takes about 59 hours to complete, but if you use that 18 hours and 41 minutes a week towards playing it, that's a sizable chunk done and a great way to, quote, fill time. I use social media every day. I'm not trying to be high and mighty about how I use my time, but almost 19 hours a week, that number is staggering. As someone who grew up with the constant mantra that video games would rot my brain, it feels strange that these numbers aren't talked about. And I think it's because everyone is complicit, whether they know it or not. As of April 2025, the numbers show that 97.5% of people ages 16 and older own a smartphone, but only 18.9% own a gaming console. Online video usage, i.e. TikTok, YouTube, is at 91.5%, with social media usage at 88.4%, and gaming at 72.9%. I'm talking about video game console usage, so those numbers reflect only gaming on consoles. I'm completely aware that mobile gaming is a massive beast in and of itself that takes up about 4 hours and 17 minutes of weekly screen time, as opposed to console gaming's 2 hours and 38 minutes. No one is safe from the shadow of social media and phone addiction, and it makes sense as to why Nintendo has changed their strategy in how they theme their devices, why the Switch 2's interface feels so sterile in comparison to the Wii or 3DS menu screens. Nintendo is scared that if they let you sit on a menu or give you the option other than getting into the game, you'll bounce off onto your phone, because statistically, you will. It even ties into how social they want the Switch 2 to feel. If you can use the Switch 2 to keep in touch with friends and do it while playing games with a new game chat function, why not stay on that device instead of picking up your phone? I would say that 90% of my ability to keep up with friends that live across the country is through multiplayer games like Fortnite and on Discord chats while watching them play games. I recently played Mario Kart World using the Switch 2's microphone, and I gotta say, it's not too shabby. It's not perfect or preferable by any means, but it is there and it works. And if it keeps you from moving anywhere outside the Switch 2 ecosystem to engage socially, all the better. And it's not like Nintendo are complete Luddites when it comes to smartphones and social media either. Mario Run, Mario Kart Tour, and most recently Nintendo Today, which they now use as a way to announce releases from some of their biggest franchises, like the newest Pikmin game. There's obviously a want within Nintendo to try to occupy some of the attention space that your phone does. They're really too weird though for that, and a calendar app with intermittent game announcements and movable camera shots of Donkey Kong throwing a boulder won't make a dent in my scrolling fueled, dopamine-deprived brain. The phone isn't the only problem though. Watching one of the most recent directs, I was looking at the personalities on screen and asking myself, who the fuck are these people? Of course, Iwata and Reggie and Miyamoto all had to earn the love and respect that they immensely deserve, but now I watch Nintendo's quarterly info dumps about their products and feel completely disconnected from a company that was for so many years the highlight of my gaming ecosystem. Since the passing of Satoru Iwata, it feels like there is no one with a firm hand steering the ship, and because of that, it seems like Nintendo has gotten a little lost on the vast seas of the modern gaming market. With each new console release, I've grown up alongside Nintendo, and there's a big part of myself that doesn't want them to grow along with me. I want to feel the same childlike wonder as I clicked into any screen on the Wii menu. I don't want an excuse of a home screen that just guides me away from it at all costs. In truth, I just want something that doesn't remind me of how sterile, how lonely, and how much less creative my own life has become since dedicating so much time to my phone. Nintendo has no choice though, when the battle is no longer against processing power or interesting gimmick to separate itself. They can't take the road less traveled, forge new straits of creativity and intrigue with how they present themselves. They have already lost the battle of attention, and maybe my mom was right. It was that damn phone's fault all along.
You're gonna have to nail me down.
On my business card, I am a corporate president. In my mind, I am a game developer. But in my heart, I am a gamer.